I'm making this video as the class is running. It's 6:40 at night, and already there's been some discussion about the Slavin article, which is really good. I'm really enjoying what you guys are posting. Um, and one of the things that Slavin ends that article with is a statement that there's research to support just about anything you want to do in education. And you could take that comment as being about the quality of research. In other words, a researcher could manipulate whatever variables there are, whatever the circumstance of the study are, to come up with whatever they want to prove. But I'm going to give you a different take on that. And that is the argument that you're going to see in a minute from this guy named John Hattie. What John Hattie did, and we're going to use some ideas from this book quite a bit in the class and from his website, is he took a look at, he does what is called meta-analysis research. So for any topic, what he'll do is gather all the experimental research on that topic, the kind of research that Slavin argues we should use. So let's say on distance learning, the question of distance learning versus face-to-face. Hattie will gather all the studies that have been done on an experimental basis that meets his criteria that compare distance learning to face-to-face learning. And he will kind of add up the results of all of those studies. And one of the main points that he came up with by doing this, and he did this with more than 100 education topics. One of the main things that he found by doing this is that every single thing, or almost every single thing you can think of, has a positive effect on learning. And so it isn't quite about the quality of the study, it's about this fact that when you put effort into something, you're going to get some kind of result. So Hattie has a little different take on it. He doesn't say, do we need research to prove something is good? He has the idea that we ought to have some guideline to how much good is enough good before we take the effort to do something. All right, so you're going to watch a video from him, and he's going to explain his work a lot better than me. But he gives some choices to the audience, and I want to give you the same choices before he kind of reveals the answer. So there's only one of the things that I'm going to show you that he says are actually of importance in terms of really making a big difference in education. All right, so this first group, this is your first choice. All these things together are kind of in the same category. Summer school, budget for schools, how much money, religious schools versus public schools, class size, big classes versus small class size. So you can see this list here, and it's a list of things that are very common that we talk about quite a bit in public policy. Is this the list that is the most important? All right. Choice 2, teachers working together as evaluators of their impact on student learning. When you have data meetings as teachers. The power of moving from what students know now towards explicit success criteria. So those of you that use Marzano, that's one of the things that is in Marzano, I think. Errors and trust are welcomed as opportunities to learn. A little bit softer than some of the kind of other issues that we're going to be talking about. Maximizing feedback to teachers about their impact on students. Getting the proportion of surface teaching to deep knowledge correct, that balance. And the Goldilocks principle of the appropriate level of challenge for students. All right, that whole group there is in the same range of importance in terms of education. All right, according to Hattie. Choice 3, technology, different ways of doing technology. So is technology the thing that is going to be the most important? So Slavin is talking about we joined the 21st century, so maybe it's technology. All right, the fourth choice is factors about students, whether their parents are divorced, remarried, personality of students, whether children are adopted, their diet, their gender, all these things about students. Is this the most important factor that drives the outcomes of learning? The last choice has to do with certain kinds of methods of teaching. Inquiry-based methods, values, morals, programmed instruction, individualized instruction. All these various kinds of programs of instruction. Is this the most important? So only one of these is Hattie going to say is the most important. and the rest all have a positive impact, but not so much that we really should be paying attention. Now, the reason that I'm doing this overview with Hattie is we're going to get into analyzing research and trying to understand a particular research studies. But the most important thing you need to know when you're doing that kind of work is the big picture. How does an individual study fit into the big picture? Almost any study you tell me about, you, that you will be telling me about this semester, I can guess from the first couple things you tell me what the study's going to say, because almost the vast majority of studies fit into this framework that Hattie's going to talk about. And so we need that grounding before we can dig in, so that if there's an anomaly in a study, we can maybe make sense, either know that it's an anomaly and try to make sense of it. Either it's an original finding that's really interesting, or there's some flaw in the study that would explain why it's so different from the framework of research that is the broader picture. All right. Next, you're going to watch the video from John Hattie.